Hey guys, welcome to the X-Ring. On today's episode, I am headed down to the long range with Dr. Ed here. Now, Dr. Ed and I go way back, and he has quite the collection of some long range rifles, but Dr. Ed has never shot past 100 yards. He's lived out west and everything else, and so the first thing we did on the way to the Clinton house down here is I had him just go ahead and download Straylock Pro. Now, that app costs about $12, $11.99, but I told them it's a good way to get started to keep a database on some of these things. So what we're going to do is I'll just film throughout the day. You guys can see some of the things that we're shooting and zeroing and getting on paper, and then I'm going to take him out to the long range. All right, guys, so we have Dr. Ed out here, and what he is shooting is he has an RPR chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, has a silencer co up on top, the radius. He also has the Night Force, the ATAC-R. It's an MOA scope. It's a 5-25. So that's what he's shooting. His first shot's on paper. I let him shoot the AI, got him comfortable with hitting at 100, 200, and 300. And before he shoots, I'm going to address one thing, because right now he's got the rifle canted really hard to the left. So he was getting ready to shoot, had a lot of cant in the rifle. I deployed the level there, and now he's pretty level on it. So first shot's out of his Ruger RPR. Make sure you check your level. Loading the bipod, pulling in gently to the shoulder. He's just opened up his action. He's going to close it here in just a second. You can see he's got the sine, cosine, angle inclinator on there, the Troy Industries iron sights. Somebody actually built this rifle for him. The build's different, for sure. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to have him get comfortable with this scope and this setup, and realizing we don't need to shoot dime-sized targets. We're going to go for the 100, 200, and 300 yard steels. The 100s are there to your left. You're going to actually see them right there. The 200s are over here. There's three of them actually. And then 300 is way in the back in between the mounds. And guys, those steels that we're shooting at are little half-size IDPAs. They are not full-size IPSCs. I know they look huge, but they're not. These are about 10 inches wide. Yeah, 6. Yeah, probably closer to 8 or 9. And then the height of these, you might have 18 inches there, so they're not that large. Get that magazine seated. Always pull on that mag, pull downwards on it to make sure it's seated. Let's go ahead and close the bolt. And you're also going to notice he does what a lot of people do, and they zoom way up high on the power. We're going to turn his power down to about 11, 12, somewhere in there. What I want you to do is find that steel at 100 yards.
The one on the right of the paper?
Let's go far left of the paper. That left hand tucked, holding those bags.
Yeah, I need to get higher. Got it?
Smooth and fire. Nice. Now what I want you to do is look in the direction of that second target, the one with the single mound. I want you to pick up the nose of that rifle and get it in line with that. So he's going to pick it up, keep going, further right, further right, further right, keep going, further right. That's 200 yards. This is an MOA scope. I'm just going to tell you as a generalization, I want you to reach up, and I want you to give me 2 MOAs on your turret knob. So right here, go to 2 for 2 MOAs.
To the right?
Wherever 2 is.
Counterclockwise? Oh, 2. Okay.
You need 2 mils. Or 2 MOA.
Yeah.
All right? I want you to hold dead center on that steel. This will be the furthest shot he's ever tried or attempted. It's 200 yards with his rifle. We've dialed in 2 minutes. And smooth. Impact. Impact. So now what I want you to do is I want you to go down there to 300. I had to probably refocus. Always focus your parallax. And I want you to give me 3.5 on your elevation. 3.5. Guys, I'm going to teach you a really easy trick here. I'm a mil shooter. I know that at 300 yards on my 6.5, I'm about 1 mil. You just multiply it times 3.5. So that's going to be his estimate. And then divide by 3.5 to figure out a solution the other way from MOA to mils.
Because your rating is 3.67.
It's easier to actually use 3.5 for quick math when it's up close, because you really don't have to worry about it. But yeah, Sergio back here said, what did you say?
3.67.
3.67. is what Sergio is saying. What do you guys say? Let me know. Write it in the comments. You got it, Ed?
Yeah.
All right, so you're at 3.5 MOAs, 300 yards. Yeah,
that,
put around the chamber. It's one of them there bolt actions.
Okay.
You guys hear that? Way to go, Dr. Ed.
That's
So,
the furthest I've ever shot.
300 yards, furthest he's ever shot, and it's that easy with the right equipment.
Wow.
All right, guys, so Dr. Ed had another beauty out here. This one has a Kydex riser on the cheek. This is a U.S. Rifle M1A. It is outfitted with the Sadlac Industries scope riser, scope mount. It has a Zeiss Duralite on here. It is a National Match 308. This has not been fired in a long time, according to Dr. Ed. So we're going to get it zeroed at 100, and then we'll take him out to the long range shortly. Okay, so we're aiming at a 1-inch pasty. We kind of clipped it at 1 o'clock. So I'm not going to mess with this turret. There's no reason to mess with any adjustments on it because it's close enough. This actually has third MOA adjustment. So because this is a Duralite, more of a hunting scope, I'm going to have to do holdovers on it. Knowing that I'm going to be about 2 minutes up, I'll go ahead and shoot the 200-yard steel. That's an impact. Now we're going to go to 300 yards. I know I'm going to be somewhere about 3.5 to 4 minutes. So yeah, I've got to do Kentucky windage. We're at 300 yards. Impact. Nice. All right, Dr. Ed. That's
Dr. Ed, taking it
look
down
at
range.
that. Give me a
I
look
love
over here at
this
the camera.
gun.
What do you think about that?
I think this is great. I think I'll
it's
keep
nice
this
being
one.
able to see somebody take their guns that they've never been able to shoot at distance because they haven't had access to it and be able to just hit steels like that at 100, 200, 300 yards. So we'll continue with some more firearms. SIG 716 DMR. These are actually pretty hard to come by. I've only seen a couple of these out in the wild. It is a piston-driven 308. You can see that right there, how it looks just completely different than the standard 716. And this thing is going to be a tack driver. This is topped off with the Night Force MOA scope. I believe this is the NXS. Oh yeah, NXS 3.5 to 15. Let's put this baby on paper. All right, guys, so real quick, the difference between a lower end scope and something that's good and quality. Right now we've zeroed his turrets out. I should be able to do this up and down, and when I go back to zero, that thing should be dead on the money. The Night Forces always track well and have good repeatability. Same thing for the windage. You want to be able to crank it, move it around, and I'm sure this one's going to be good to go. There's no question. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Dr. Ed shoot the far left steel. He knows it's going to be dead on at 100. Then we're going to move to 200 yards like he did before with this 716 DMR. We're going to have him hold somewhere around 2 minutes. He can dial it or he can hold it in his reticle, and then at 300 he'll do 3.5. Nice. Chip shot. So now go to 200, finger out of the trigger guard, safety on. Nice. Excellent. How easy is that, Dr. Ed?
You make it easy.
Easy peasy.
That's why you buy quality equipment, guys. That looks like a pretty M4, a Benelli M4 with an EOTech on there. It's got a breacher
Tactical.
muzzle brake on the end. Man, you got some nice stuff there, Dr. Ed. All right, so what do you want me to do with this thing?
I want you to take some slugs and I want you to adjust the EOTech for the slugs, and then the rest is history. I can figure it out.
All right, we'll do it. Here we go. Okay, that was a good solid hit.
Yep.
All right, guys. So remember I told you Dr. Ed and I go way back? Well, you guys remember the trunk monkey? Well, Dr. Ed and I bought these at the exact same time years ago. And you guys might recognize that as the LWRC, the M6. It was the trunk monkey. So this one's a little different. This one has the collapsible stock like this. 7.5-inch barrel. It is a piston driven system. You can see he's got an aim point micro T2 on here. It is ready for a flash or a suppressor. He's got a AAC M4 2000. Just a really, really cool gun. It has the Geissler trigger. They call it the Xiphos 5.56. Same gun that I've got, but man, tiny little package. We'll see if we can hit targets at 100 and 200 yards. All right, guys, we know what's in here. M4 2000. Guys, this stuff, it's never even been shot before. Oh, look at that. He's got a 60-round Surefire mag. He's ready for bear, okay? He's ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to get first shots out of this. We're going to get it zeroed, and we'll put a 200-yard zero on it. We've discussed why we want a 200-yard zero.
I think so.
So with the 55 grainers, here we go. 100 yards. All day long. Now we'll go to 200.
200.
Hit. Those are hits. So we got Dr. Ed getting ready to go up to the Tower of Doom.
Tower of Doom.
1,000-yard range. Farthest he shot you guys saw was 300 yards. Let's see if we can get him banging steel. So what we did is we got Dr. Ed up there. He has not fired his first round yet. I've got him kind of snapping in is what I call it. I've got him on the 300-yard target. All he's going to do is just dry fire, practicing loading the bipod, pulling into his shoulder, and just dry fire it. We're not worried about elevation or anything else. I just want him to get a feel for that trigger. What I want you to do is give me a correction up here on your elevation. I want you to dial in 3.75. So right now he's at 1 MOA.
2, 3.
3, 3.25, 3.5, and 3.75. Nice. Yep. That's a hit. Nice job, Ed. Nice, 500 yard.
Good hit.
Nice. Keep in mind, guys, up until a couple hours ago, he had never shot past 100 yards. Think about your breathing, smooth.
Right edge. That was a hit.
And that's a hit. You heard it?
Yeah.
So excellent job. But guys, just keep in mind, Dr. Ed here has never shot past 100. He's 73 years old. This is his setup. Somebody had built this up for him. And what he's learned is he doesn't need all the unnecessary stuff. He wants to lighten the gun up. He's going to take these irons off. Irons are good to have if you have a way of taking that scope off. But with half-inch nuts like that, how's he going to do it? He's also not employing his level right now, which I recommend he does at this distance, because he always wants to keep it level. This right here, that's extra weight. He doesn't know how to use it yet, doesn't need to have it on the gun. Other than that, RPR setup with a good optic, and he's banging steel all the way up to 700. Let's see if we can put him on 8. You guys had to free up some phone storage. We've got Dr. Ed out to 1,000 yards now. He made the hit at 900. All right, guys, so that was the day here at the Clinton house with Dr. Ed. What'd you think about hitting those targets out at 900 yards?
I think it was absolutely fantastic. I'd do that any day of the week.
Yeah, so he said that was one of the things on his bucket list. He could have hit the 1,000, I'm sure of it. However, he ran out of ammunition, and I didn't have any ammunition that was calibrated for his rifle, so maybe next time. Guys, like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon. If you're thinking about getting into long-range precision shooting, get off the fence, do it. It's easier than you think. Have a good one. Take care. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the MOA target, which is a 10-inch by 10-inch steel at 1,000 yards. It's a really small steel. I hate you guys can't see it. I'm getting locked in. I'm looking at the wind. And that's an impact.
Yep, impact, top edge.
That's it, guys. 1,000 yards. First round hit, second round hit. Second round was a 10 by 10 steel square.